This is the Astrology and Tarot Show with Jessica Adams.
Thanks, Shane. This is your Astrology and Tarot for the week starting July 27 to August 2. If you want timestamps on this podcast for your sign, pick it up at the Astrology and Tarot Show, which you'll find at substack.com. Your tarot this week can be decoded at jessicaadams.com. Aries, the Nine of Cups. Taurus, the Empress. Gemini, the Four of Wands. Cancer, Temperance. Leo, Strength. Virgo, the Ace of Wands. Libra, the Three of Cups. Scorpio, the Two of Pentacles. Sagittarius, the World. Capricorn, the Ace of Pentacles. Aquarius, the Two of Cups. And Pisces, the Two of Wands. Now, if you have Leo factors in your birth chart, Pluto, Neptune and Uranus all aspect the Sun in Leo this week. So this is about pregnancy, babies, infants, school children, teenagers or younger adults. It is about dating or the bedroom. All eyes are on you now. That's understandable, but stick to your private wish list. You have an opportunity here if you have Leo factors or a solution not possible in 12 years. And you also have good karma from 18 or 19 years before. Aries, karma rolls with friends or groups. It's common for old battalions or fighting units to regroup, to sort through their spiritual debts and credits now. Maybe your group is nothing of the kind. It may be mum's net or a tribe of friends. But because the most common kinds of bonded groups used to be military, sometimes that's not a bad example of this North Node in Aquarius cycle, which is all about what you owe or what you are owed by others. Maybe your best friend, maybe a political party, a band or social media. 18 or 19 years ago, things were set up karmically, but now mean all the chickens come home to roost, and they do that for the next year or two. If you're curious about this cycle, I just finished writing about it on my website. This double Pluto and North Node cycle in Aquarius in your zone of groups and friends is about resistance training. So how does it work? Well, Pluto is all about the mind gym. It's about self-control and willpower that empowers you and gives you the control back again. Pluto is potent. It is nuclear levels of emotional or psychological power. And as it passes through your zone of friends and groups, now with the North Node too, what we're going to see for you is a repetitive situation which goes backwards and forwards, enabling you to at last try for long-term closure with something or someone that was never finished with 18 or 19 years before. Taurus, the family circle or the household, the house or the apartment, maybe your town or country, is in the frame. You will come across an issue which makes you feel as if you've seen it all before, and maybe you have. What we have now with the South Node in Leo in the 4th house is basically a loop coming back to you. People and situations which are familiar to you in terms of the soundtrack of your life or the theme are coming back from 18 or 19 years before. You appear to be owed, Taurus. The universe will organise compensation in the form of a big opportunity or solution with relatives, flatmates, roommates or living partners, with real estate, with property, the garden and the local area for some of you. You'll find it easy to manage. So even though there is a sense of repeat, what you're seeing is really something that is what you've wanted for a long time. It is the answer to a question that you have, or it is a major opportunity. At the moment, this double cycle in the sign of Leo is going through your 4th house, which is where you come from, where you belong, and the roof over your head. It can indicate your mother or your mother's side of the family. It is very much about being at home in the world, whether you have family or not, and whatever the relationships are like. This is also about the bricks and mortar as well as the people. And what we're seeing here is really unusual. You just don't get these two together in your 4th house very often. One of them takes 12 years to come around and the other one takes 18 or 19 years. If you go back to what was happening 18 or 19 years ago, Taurus, you'll soon find a familiar theme. Gemini. A familiar issue about your brother, sister, cousin, or the neighbour in your life will assume new importance this week as it goes to the top of your list, and you may have inherent wisdom about what's going on. You feel intuitively right about what you're seeing and experiencing. That is because you are being served up something that you already had on another menu 18 or 19 years ago. This week you will have a choice. You can sit back and just watch what is unfolding again, as the theme is so familiar to you, or you can roll up your sleeves and get on with being one of life's opportunists or optimists and take a great leap forward. Gemini, this week triggers your birth chart and your sun sign chart at the same time. So it may be about a sibling or a half sibling, perhaps your aunt's children. It may be about the people next door or in the neighbouring place, for example, Canada to America or LA to New York. What does it mean to have Uranus in Gemini in your natal third house, where your sun is, at the same time that you have Jupiter and the South Node in your solar third house? Well, it's a double whammy, as you might expect. And it tells you that you are definitely owed some good karma from what you did 18 or 19 years before. You stand to gain publicly. That's what it will look like to other people, as you are being given a solution or an opportunity. At the same time, there is new freedom and independence on offer this week forward. If you break with the past, this is nothing short of a revolution with this person or with this area on the map. Cancer. Uranus in Gemini in your 12th house sets you free on the inside this week. The 12th house is about religion, tarot, or counselling, but it describes the time that you spend alone and places where you develop a relationship with yourself in peace and quiet and solitude. If you leave normal life to retreat to a special location now, you may know it as a path to freedom. It's also common to become involved with meditation, dream interpretation, the church, psychics, astrology, and other navel-gazing pursuits. Why? Because you clearly need to break free from them, or you find freedom through them. The choice is yours, one or the other. It's time once again, Cancer, to experiment and explore. And just because you've been there, done that, doesn't mean that you have to assume it will be the same sort of revolution again. You have already found freedom since April, but there is more. So let's look at this 12th house of yours in more detail. This is a big one because on July 26, you ended a major cycle in your natal 12th house, in your birth chart. The North Node left Pisces. So what's going on here is the end of a chapter and the start of a new one. Nobody else will understand, and maybe nobody else will even know. At most, this process will involve one confidant, but in general, it is done on your own. Leo. This cycle will draw your attention to your image, name, appearance, and reputation. It's about the person that you see in photographs or in the mirror. It's about your outer packaging in the eyes of the world, the way that you are rated, reviewed, and received by people who've never met you. Life 18 or 19 years ago will play its part. Don't be too surprised about the time warp or the time loop, as this week you have the South Node in Leo, your own sign, and Jupiter in your first house of packaging and presentation. The South Node always goes backwards, never forwards, so you must have done all the right things 18 or 19 years ago, because you are about to hit a massive opportunity, Leo, which will carry you through into August, or you are being offered a major solution to an issue that you have about the way that you're seen, heard, or read. All of this is happening for you in your first house, in your solar chart. If you're one of those Leos who have Aries factors in your birth chart, this is a double whammy. And we could add to that that this is a slow makeover or relaunch of your public profile. Virgo. You are now well and truly out of a loop which has been affecting your appearance, your reputation, your name, or your public profile. Why was life so stuck on repeat? Well, the South Node in Virgo, your sign, is your answer. You can now move on to new ways of managing how you are seen. Holograms tell us that there are many ways of seeing things. And yes, we are all holograms. To get over that old, stuck feeling about your hologram, start thinking about August and your birthday, whether it's in August or September. Your solar return is coming, so many happy returns. That means the sun goes back to the same sign, Virgo, and the same degree it occupied when you were born. This time it's very different for you, though, because it is a solar return that tells you you can now actually be proactive about your hair, your face, your reputation, your photographs, your social media, and so on. Your title may be any letters after your name and your name itself. The opportunity in front of you or the solution that you need is big. Not just the South Node in Leo, but also Jupiter in Leo are working together in your 11th house of allies and also circles. It is now your destiny to be in a time warp where nothing will change and nothing will move on. You are going to see friends and groups through a revolving door, yet you will gain. This period in your life offers a unique chance to work on your social media and find a reward, restructure your tribe if you need to, and also learn to gain or exploit what happens again and again. You will have dozens of opportunities to practice that for the rest of this year and in 2027. It may be your political party, or it may be your address book. It may be a charity, or it may be people that you used to call the gang and maybe still do. Libra, this week is about karma with a group or friend. It's a brand new cycle you are owed from life 18 or 19 years ago, and the opportunity or the solution is enormous. Why? Not just the South Node, but also Jupiter are both in Leo, in your 11th house of friends and groups. It is now your destiny, Libra, to be in an ancient time warp where nothing ever changes for the rest of 26 and 27 and nothing really moves, and yet you gain. This period in your life offers a unique chance to work on, for example, your social media and find a way through or a reward. You can restructure your tribe if you need to so that you are free to use all those repeat situations in a useful way. What can you learn, gain, or exploit? You'll have dozens of opportunities to practice in 26, 27, and early 28, and it all begins this week. It might be your political party, your address book, maybe a situation with Mumsnet or a football team. Perhaps you're thinking about a shared house with friends or just your best friend. What it means to have Jupiter and the South Node both in your 11th house is that you're actually picking up on something that's affecting everybody, and that's Pluto in Aquarius in the 11th house. Same area of life, friends and groups. Everybody is seeing questions about who or what is in control, where the power is, and how to share the power among friends and allies. And you'll be swept up in that this week in this brand new cycle. Scorpio, Uranus in Gemini makes waves in your finance and real estate zone. Catch a wave and surf to freedom. You cannot control what happens with your money, home or possessions, your shares or your business, but you can control your reaction. So that wildly unpredictable situation since April could be making you richer or richer on the inside as you learn that freedom and independence are priceless. You cannot hang a price tag on being your own person and doing your own thing in your own way. It's this new liberation that will make the most impact on you. Your lease, your mortgage, or your loan position, maybe your position on Wall Street with cryptocurrency and so on, will give you a radically different take on the numbers now. And the idea here is to pivot. That's the way that this cycle rolls. In fact, Uranus, the planet in question, also rolls sideways. This is personal too. You currently have Chiron in Taurus in your birth chart, slowly moving into an opposition with your sun. The when of that depends on your actual birthday, but the general mood from your birth chart is that the predictably unpredictable is inevitable. And at the same time, you cannot hang on to the past. In fact, the faster you move forward with the waves that are carrying you towards a new game to play, the more freedom that you'll find. Sagittarius, there is a big change in your horoscope this week. The South Node is in Leo in your ninth house, which you rule anyway in astrology, and the ninth house in turn rules foreigners and foreign countries. So you can expect a repetitive situation that rings bells from 18 or 19 years before. It works for you, but you still need a strategy. That strategy is your own decision, Sagittarius, to choose how you're going to feel about things. It may be a different nationality in your own town or your own city, or it may be you abroad. It is impossible to escape the endless time loop that comes with this cycle. You are now about to see the same people saying the same things or doing the same things many, many times. In fact, this cycle will stretch into 2027 and 2028. What is the point of the repetition? Well, in astrology, it's to get you to change on the inside, because when the only thing that you can do is alter your point of view, that helps you evolve. And that's what this situation will do for you, no matter whether it is about emigrating, a holiday overseas, a business relationship with another country, or a different accent or language at home or at work. Sometimes, Sagittarius, this cycle will tally with academia, publishing, or the World Wide Web, and that is where you experience it. But however you are placed in the world, what the next 7 days tells you is that there is a big answer here, and there is real growth ahead for you too. You just need to be aware of the repetition. Capricorn, this is a good week to examine your values, your value system, your personal life budget, what you will and will not sell out for, and who and what you are prepared to negotiate over. The second house, ruled by Aquarius, describes what you will or will not compromise on in terms of the money or maybe the real estate or business. And there needs to be a new deal, clearly. It may take you until January and February 2027, but it looks as if there will be a compromise here. The trick to a successful compromise or share agreement, and it is the power that will be shared, is to try and keep the stakes as low as possible, Capricorn. At the same time, we have karma here. I've been talking a bit this week about the South Node and the North Node moving backwards into new signs. For you, life 18 or 19 years ago will come back. The theme or the symbolism is very, very similar, and you do stand to gain. You're being offered a big answer here to a question that didn't have an answer last week, or you're being offered a major opportunity to gain. Aquarius, a partner who may be personal, professional, or platonic is now part of your karma. Life repeats with this person from 18 or 19 years ago. You now have the South Node in Leo in your zone of partnership of all kinds, and it joins Jupiter in Leo too. This is a huge change for you. Once you discover a mindset that will make you happy, or at least philosophical, you can put up with any amount of repetition. This is your time to observe yourself and him or her and learn. From this comes growth, hope, optimism, and soaring opportunities. It may be your boyfriend. It may be your business partner. You'll feel an astonishing sense of familiarity about all those situations now, because the South Node always goes backwards in time, never forwards. And what it's doing at the moment is taking you back to what was going on 18 or 19 years ago in your past, either with this person or another face. And yet it would still have been a partnership matter. So what is this seventh house of yours where we now find Jupiter and the South Node? Well, it's very much about the scales, with yourself on one end of the scales and he or she on the other end of the scales. And those scales may be legal, so it could be the scales of justice. In other cases, this is the scales of equality, balance, and fairness. And what is happening this week will draw your attention to what it would take to get the needle to stay on the middle of the scales. Pisces, you now have the South Node in Leo, along with Jupiter in Leo, and that's not happened to you in a very long time indeed. In fact, you would have to be quite old to have experienced these cycles, if not defying all the laws of science, as Pluto is in Aquarius at the other end, and that only happens every 248 years. So what are these rare patterns? Well, they're all about your health, your mental health, your fitness, your lifestyle, and your workload. Your service and duty to others, but also your first duty to your own well-being. You will hit repeat scenarios with your workload and your well-being from 18 or 19 years ago. If you go back through your old emails or paperwork, or even your photographs, you may spot a familiar life soundtrack. You can now choose your angle. You can't do much to alter the repetitive scenarios, but you can change your attitude towards them. It is good karma, but still, there are times when you will feel as if you are enjoyably trapped in the same pinball machine. Nevertheless, the South Node in Leo, combined with Jupiter in Leo, is here to teach you a new angle. What is this sixth house of yours where these two patterns now unfold? Well, it's very much to do with organizing yourself and your lifestyle as if you were not quite a machine, but certainly part of the overall machinery. And this may be at home with the housework. It may be as a volunteer, in unpaid work, or in your normal professional life. What you are being offered here is a way out or a way through that is pretty rare. And it is coming to you this week, Pisces, as a direct result of your having done the right things karmically 18 or 19 years before. That's all for this week, and I'll catch up with you next week.